Hey, what's up guys, another video here. So today I want to talk about not listening to Beat the Bush. So do not listen to Beat the Bush. So I used to be subscribed to him and I found this video is pretty entertaining, but I think his channel went to the downside, so let me explain why. So number one, for his later videos, he tries to time the market and he's trying to go against the power of the Fed. So I've noticed that, especially in the comments of some of his videos, that some of his subscribers dangerously followed his advice and lost out on gains on the market. So from that standpoint, he's not being responsible for his subscribers. Because number one, no one can time the market and the market will go up in the long term. So if the market does dip, they should dollar cost average into the market. So him posting all these videos about, oh, I'm trying to time the market, oh, I have insider knowledge of what's going to happen because of the illness or whatever, the beer bug, what happens is people are trying to follow this advice or they trust him with no regard with their own research, and what happens is they follow this advice and they lose out on massive gains. So he may sell something and the market goes up for the next week or month or whatever. So he's peddling very dangerous advice when it comes to trying to time the market because he thinks he has some kind of insider knowledge on what's going to happen with the market because of what's happening with the illness. But this is very dangerous advice because you can never fight the Fed. The Fed has unlimited power to print unlimited amounts of money, and they have their monetary policy of controlling the interest rates so they can keep them artificially low to spur lending or whatnot. So he's trying to make advice that goes against the power of the Fed and goes against the eventual upswing of the market. So again, very, very dangerous advice. Number one, no one can change or no one can time the market to complete accuracy, and his followers are following his advice, and he's made plenty of mistakes by trying to time the market. So from that standpoint, it's very irresponsible for him to make these videos and try to influence his impressionable subscribers. And number two is I suspect that a large portion of his net worth is tied up with his primary residence. So he lives in a condo in the Bay Area. So I'm assuming he bought the condo maybe 10 or so years ago. So his home value, it probably quintupled at the bare minimum. So I'm thinking his primary residence is probably in the neighborhood of $800 to $1,000,000. So I would think that at least a huge chunk of his net worth is tied with his primary home value. So he got very lucky in the Bay Area market. It's a very hot market. So if you're in an urban area such as the Bay Area or Los Angeles or wherever else that has a booming market, of course, if he bought a decade or so ago, he bought the home at a fraction of what it appreciated to. So from that standpoint, he got very lucky. So it's not like he picked an investment that quintupled in value, from his own cash flow, but he actually got very lucky with his primary residence, and of course he paid it off early. And now, because the home has quintupled in value or quadrupled in value, it now comprises a large portion of his net worth. So from that standpoint, again, he got lucky through real estate, especially that he was in a hot market. So again, don't take his investment advice completely to heart because number one, he's trying to time the market, and a large portion of his net worth, I suspect, is not tied with or largely tied with picking good investments. And number three, the thing that bothered me about him was that he has a mysterious benefactor, a mysterious kind of mentor that just doles him out free money. So you just give him a free handout, and then what he decides to do is try to reward himself with a depreciating asset such as a Tesla Model 3. So even I myself, as a multimillionaire, I would never buy a Tesla Model 3. I mean, it wouldn't be justified on my end. Number one, it's going to be depreciating over time, and it's just an ego purchase. I mean, I drive a 2010 Toyota Corolla, so me purchasing a Model 3, number one, I can't even plug it in because I don't have a garage, but it's not justified from the standpoint that it's going to depreciate over time, and the money that he could have put in with the Tesla Model 3, he could have invested over time, and he could have used it more responsibly. So from that standpoint, he's trapped in the sense of materialism. So, oh, hey, I have no idea what his net worth is. I'm guessing he's a multimillionaire as well, but he decided, oh, I can't stand anymore. I can't. I mean, he already had a luxury car, a Porsche, but he just transitioned. Granted, it was very old, but he transitioned to a very expensive Model 3, and he got a performance model. So he's purchasing something in cash that will depreciate over time. So from that standpoint, mathematically, it was not a good purchase. So he bought that purchase out of ego. So again, that's not setting a good example for subscribers, because even again, like for someone like myself as a multimillionaire, I still drive a very old 2010 Toyota Corolla. He's as a multimillionaire, he's purchasing a Tesla Model 3 that is very fast, very expensive, and he's not giving a good example to subscribers, because even as a multimillionaire, you should still be very responsible with your finances. And he could have used his money in a much more constructive way. So, like he said, he likes to buy Tesla stock, so he could have placed that money into Tesla stock, and now it's around $1,200. So he could have made a good amount of money and showed that, oh, I showed self-control and withholding purchasing a very expensive item such as a Tesla Model 3, and I made a good amount of money because I was able to control my expenses, and because maybe he needed to replace his Porsche, he could have got a cheaper car instead of being trapped into this mindset of materialism and lifestyle creep. So he gave into his lifestyle creep even as a multimillionaire, and he still lives so cheaply. So it's inconsistent based on his current lifestyle and how he's living. So from that standpoint, I don't think he's consistent and showing a good example to subscribers. So just to recap, he tries to time the market and goes against the power of the Fed and the eventual market upswing. So he's influencing his subscribers in a bad way, and they are very impressionable, and they try to follow his advice and ultimately lose out gains in the market. Number two, I suspect a large portion of his net worth is tied to his primary residence. And again, he just got lucky with the housing price inflation in the Bay Area. And thirdly is he has like a mysterious benefactor, mysterious mentors that gives him free money and free handouts, and he purchases things that aren't justified even as a multimillionaire on depreciating assets, while he could have allocated his money in a better way and given a better example to his subscribers. So that's it, guys. Hopefully this was a little helpful, and thanks for watching.